Hey crafty cuties, and welcome to a really exciting video. I'm so excited to share this paper embroidery dream catcher. Now, I was completely inspired by Jen Gallagher1 on Instagram. She also has a blog post sharing her dream catcher, and I'm going to have that link below. I would love for you guys to check that out. And we have a ton of different products and things that I used on this dream catcher, so we're going to hop right into that. And I would love for you to take the poll that's going to be up in the upper right hand corner of the screen, letting me know, do you like me to take the time and go through all of the products that I use on a project, or do you just want me to get into the tutorial and you can use what you have at home? I would love to know. So I am going to start out by showing the products in this video, and I am mostly using papers and embellishments from the Pink Paislee Take Me Away collection. This collection is so gorgeous, and I was so excited to finally use it on a special project. I am also using an embroidery hoop that is about 6 inches or so. And I did pre-cut papers and I pre-made embellishments for this project. I do have a lot of videos showing you how to make things like this rosette here that I made. I wanted to save time and just, make these embellishments ahead of time. And I figured if you wanted to make one of these certain embellishments, you can check the videos that I'll have linked below. So I do have a video showing you how I make rosettes. There are also a ton on YouTube. I made this bow using my envelope punch. Again, I do have a video showing how I made this bow in a previous video. And then I also made these gorgeous flowers. I love these paper flowers so much. And I did use a die, which I'll show you which dies I used in just a moment. And again, I have a video making those flowers. Then I went ahead and I flipped through the paper pad and just cut out some of the pretty little elements like that floral pack and this gorgeous little You Are My Sunshine, which is also an embroidery hoop. And then I went through my stash and just pulled out a bunch of things that I had already. Those little award embellishments I have a video for, and those little butterflies I also have a video for you. So you can see that I really try to make use of the things that I have for projects. And then I'm going to share with you the different dies that I use to make some of the additional embellishments. So I used these Spellbinder's wreath die that I got from Michael's, this arrows die, which I didn't end up using, but it's still nice to have things pre-cut, I think. And then I used this feather die from Spellbinders. And then this is the floral die that I used, and I don't know what it's called, but I'll try to have it linked below. This collection has a ton of different papers that you can get a lot of use out of, like smaller dies, and I tried to make the most of all of the papers. You can see I wasn't wasting anything because I love this collection. Finally, let's hop into it, guys. So for the backing of the dream catcher, I went ahead and just used this embroidery hoop, traced around the outside for the back paper, and then I took the embroidery hoop and traced on the inside for some of the paper that I wanted on the inside layering parts. Now you can layer as many papers as you want, you guys. You can totally get creative with this. I kept that part simple and I kind of focused on the outer edges of the dream catcher and then the pieces that I have hanging down below. So we are going to start with the pieces that are hanging off of this dream catcher. I figured that it would make more sense to tie anything that I wanted before gluing the pieces of paper on the back of the hoop. So I'm taking some of my butterflies and I wanted to kind of stack the butterflies all on one thread. So I'm using my crocodile to poke some holes in the butterflies, and then you can see I'm just going to string the thread through all 3 of those butterflies so that they can all be on one thread. And I'm going to use a variety of thread and different trims to hang off. I hang some embellishments and I also just hang some different ribbon trims. So I'm going to speed this part up. It did take me a little while to thread everything together, and I'm just showing you how I place a little hole in this feather, and then I can just easily string it on some string. So I'm going to go ahead and tie everything on now. And I love that, I think it's called seam binding. That's what it is. And I think this would be so gorgeous having like a really full area where you have different ribbon trims hanging off, kind of like a real dream catcher. I think I added enough because I had so many different embellishments, but I think it would be really pretty just to have a ton of different ribbon trims and different textures. And so I had a lot of fun with this. I think this was the most time-consuming part, honestly, was tying everything on, because I was having trouble tying the thread on. It's so thin that it kept coming untied, but I wasn't worried about it because I would double knot, and then when we hot glue the backing paper on, it kind of secures everything on. So I wasn't too worried about anything falling off once it was all put together. Once you have everything tied on, go ahead and glue your backing piece on. Now, if you wanted to decorate the backing piece before gluing it on, you totally could. This was just how I thought it would work the best, and I used my hot glue gun for the backing piece. It dries quick, and I thought it would work best to kind of hold everything into place. So I do little areas at a time since it does dry quick, and I want to make sure that I am pressing that backing piece into the glue as I go. So for the next dream catcher that I make, I do think I might play around with it and decorate the backing piece before gluing it on, because it is a little hard to work with that backing piece once you have it glued on, but I was just kind of anxious to get everything started, put together. So now you can kind of see what we're working with, and it's just so pretty. Like, I can't get over this project. Now, that second circle that I had cut, I knew I was going to cut in half, so I was just kind of playing around with it to see where I wanted to place it. And I think that I didn't get an even cut because I could tell that the outer circle area was only fitting perfectly, like on certain parts of it. So again, if you were going to decorate your backing page before gluing it on, I would just make sure that you know everything's going to fit. Make sure that you know where the embroidery hoop falls on your backing piece so that you don't go kind of outside the lines. So here we go. I'm using my absolute favorite scalloped gold trim and kind of making a little border area. I think in the original Dreamcatcher I saw, I'm pretty sure she had some kind of trim or something to separate her two papers. So I definitely was inspired by that on hers. And so now I'm going to focus on kind of the biggest part of this project, I think, is where I decorated the outside edges of this circle. And there was so much I wanted to do and add, but remember, this is only a 6-inch hoop, and I didn't have too much room to work with because I really wanted you to be able to see that backing paper. So I kind of just played around with it, and I would, you know, play around and put things here and there and kind of move it around before gluing anything down, because I wanted to make sure that I was really happy with the placement and I didn't want to be ripping anything off. So that little floral wreath that you see, that was from the Pink Paislee Take Me Away collection. On the rosette, that little bird, I'm not sure where that came from or where the happy came from, because those I just grabbed out of my stash. So I know that some of these pieces are from other random collections, but that little floral piece that I glue up in the top, that was a cutout from one of the papers on the Take Me Away collection. And then for the little the two flowers that I made, all of the papers except for one of the leaves is from the Pink Paislee Take Me Away collection. I love how they turned out, and I like that using papers from one collection on all of the embellishments that you make is really just going to ensure that everything matches really well, because typically a paper pad, all of the designs are going to kind of coordinate and go together. So I use this tiny little bow from the Take Me Away collection, and it kind of just peeks out, but I like that because I feel like it's not too overpowering. So now I'm just going to kind of go through and kind of fidget and make sure that I like everything, make sure I don't want to add anything. And off camera, I did end up adding a few different die cut leaves and little like greenery type things, and I kind of just stuck them in so that they were kind of peeking out, and I really loved that as a final touch. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, make sure there's not any last minute little things that I want to add. I have this little wooden die cut that you can kind of see peeking out from the flowers up there. So I really wanted some type of a sentiment on the inside, but everything that I was coming across was just not going to work. I really wanted to have the words "Take Me Away" somewhere in there, but it just wasn't working, so I just kind of let that idea go. So to finish off the inside, I thought it would be really pretty to add these clear sequins. They're from Cartwright's. And they're just different sizes of clear sequins, but I thought it was just a really nice finishing touch. I think it would be really pretty to maybe use some Wink of Stella for some shimmer and shine. You could add glitter on the outsides of the embroidery hoop that's showing. You could paint that. There's so much that you could do. But this is the final Dreamcatcher here. It's so pretty hanging up. I really couldn't get a good photo of it hanging up because it's just not in a good location. But trust me guys, it's so pretty, and I cannot wait to make more of these. I love it, I love it, I love it, and I hope that you guys will make one, and I hope you'll share it with me on Instagram. But also be sure to check out where I got inspiration from. You can check Jen's blog that I'll have posted below, or you can check her Instagram. And I just am so excited. I haven't been this excited about a project in a long time, so I hope that you guys have a lovely day. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.